Do you love great podcasts? Do you love great Australian podcasts? Of course you do. Australians make incredible podcasts. And if you want to stay up to date with the best Australian shows, then check out Oz Podcasts. Look for us on social media and find your new favourite show from the Australian podcast directory on ozpodcast.com.au. That's OZPODCASTS, ozpodcast.com.au. Check it out.
If you like new stuff before anybody else, if you like to keep your finger on the pulse, if you like the future and want to be in it, keep on listening because we'll start in a minute. Tech Webcast, the hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Tech Webcast, because technology, it moves so fast. Tech Webcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Tech Webcast. Ha! Ha! Tech Webcast. Let's go!
Welcome to episode 326 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on the 7th of March 2015. Tech Webcast is recorded every Saturday at midday Melbourne time. Please rate us on iTunes and like us at facebook.com/Tech Webcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast. Your hosts today are Brad, Jody, Jennifer, Steve, Jacob, and myself, Andrew. And our very special guest today is Drew Cox, the CEO of Matter and Form. Drew is here to talk to us about their affordable 3D printers. How are you doing today, Brad?
Mr. Andrew, how are you, mate? How's your week been? And a big happy birthday to you for next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday. Thanks for that, mate. No, the week's been really good. Actually, I've been in Adelaide this week. Yeah, for a few days down there. A bit of R&R time with my family. My wife's mother and her partner live in Adelaide, so we took miles and road tripped across. It's about a 12-hour drive. So, yeah, it's been a good week, a relaxing week.
Did you catch up with Vincent at all?
I didn't get around to it, unfortunately. I was hoping to, but Miles was a little bit sick through it, so I didn't really want to get away too much, which is a little bit difficult. But no, it was good. It was a good time, though. It was a good time. So
good stuff. Where did you go to? The car racing in Adelaide, wasn't it?
I did. I went to the Clipsal 500 on the Sunday, which is a car race with the Australian supercars. And next week, for my birthday on the Saturday, I'm off to the Formula One Grand Prix. So
that's in St Kilda. Where's that at?
No, it's in Albert Park. Yeah, so I'll be down there for a couple of days with a few friends who I catch up with every year for a couple of beers. So looking forward to that as well.
Good stuff, mate. Sounds fun. We've got Jody on. Welcome, Jody.
Hey, hi, Brad. How's it going?
I'm good. How's your week been?
Oh, it's been amazing. The dogs have been doing phenomenal. We've got another dog show coming up next week with Jewel. So fingers crossed that she does a good job for us.
Nice one. Hope she wins.
Yep. Yeah, me too. She only needs 8 more points to get her grand champion title, so I'm hopeful that she'll do that. And Ruger's been doing phenomenal. We're doing more training, different kinds of training with search and rescue. And you can't go too much more dichotomous than doing the fashion show with the little beauty pageant and going out and getting in all grimy with search and rescue. So
yep, definitely sounds fun. And we need to get them on the podcast.
Oh yeah, they'll probably hop on. I think
they'll probably bark or something.
Yep.
Jennifer, welcome back, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you. How's it going?
I'm good. And you got the new Spotify?
I guess I did. I have the beta installed, so I'm guessing that it just kind of updated. And the latest update doesn't seem to have the apps in it.
Removed that, I think.
Yeah, and I really use the apps a lot. I love the third-party apps in Spotify. I'm hoping that they're going to bring them back, and this is just a temporary glitch or tweak or something, because I did use them on a regular basis, actually.
Yeah, I hope they don't remove them, because they come in handy, some of them apps.
Yeah, I use that, mainly for the lyrics, and I really enjoyed listening to music and then pulling up Music Match and looking at the lyrics at the same time. I thought that was kind of a neat feature, and I don't see it now. So hopefully they'll bring it back. It is a beta version I'm using, and we shall see.
Did you actually download that, Jennifer, or did you update it?
No, I didn't. I downloaded it, yeah, but I think it might have auto-updated for me. And because all of a sudden I noticed that the apps were gone and I didn't manually do anything. So I don't know. It's kind of odd. So,
okay.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Hey. Steve, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Talking about Jennifer, I'm like, how can they do an app update when they take away the app? It makes no sense.
That's what I can't work out. They must have removed apps in Spotify, yeah.
Those third-party apps, they're missing.
Yeah.
Missing. Steve, how's your week been, mate?
It's been pretty good. There's been a bevy of things. Went to a Mac users group recently. Showed off Final Cut Pro 10. Had a bit of few flubs there. My GPS sent me to a high school, and I was late. I couldn't get my project to load, but we still had a great time at the end.
Okay. What did Jody say in here? Jody, what did you mention? You've got something?
Oh, yeah. Amazon released a new product called Amazon Echo, and they released it limited supply. As an Amazon Prime member, I was able to snag one, and I haven't even taken it out of the box yet, but they hype it as being I guess you call it like a voice-activated Internet Explorer kind of thing that learns what you like, what you don't like, and you just talk to it. So I'll let you know how it works. Like I said, I haven't even taken it out of the box yet, but brand new product from Amazon.
Sounds cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Jacob, welcome, mate. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good, Brad. And how is yours?
Mine's been good, mate, apart from my Mac playing up and whatever else, as you know.
Yeah.
What have you been up
I got
to?
to see it firsthand.
What's that?
No, I said I got to see what it was firsthand
let's not go into that, but anyway.
by video.
Yeah, how's your week been?
All right.
All right. What anything else happen or?
Nothing. I just got to try the new Little Caesars bacon pizza.
Oh, that sounds good.
I already made a person jealous.
Who?
You.
Yeah, well, look good. Look good. You need to send some over.
Well, you need to come over here and get it. It'll probably rot by the time it gets to you.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, you're getting a package as well, aren't you, Jacob, from me, and getting a new video out soon.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for it to get here.
Explain what you're gonna do in it.
Well, basically, it's gonna be like a foodie unboxing / review. So basically, Brad sent me 4 products.
Yeah.
Tim Tams? Tam Tams?
No Tim Tams. I want Tim Tams. No.
Oh, okay.
No, because I already had them, and I love the mother load out of them.
The mother load, huh? Well, I look forward to watching this, to watching your unboxing and your tasting of the different Australian foods. So that should be fun.
Jennifer,
Tim Tams. Jennifer, you got some yourself.
I did. You guys sent me some Tim Tams. Those were delicious. Those did not go well with my diet, so but they were worth it. I finished them. There you go. So it was really good.
Do you want some more, Jennifer?
No, I don't. Not now. Maybe in 3 months from now.
What about you, Jody?
I love Tim Tams. I like the white ones, though. The white chocolate ones.
The white chocolate, Jody. Interesting.
Oh, so good.
Let's go to Drew Andrew. Welcome, Drew, to the show, mate.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, mate. And tell us about what you do and the product and stuff you sell on the website.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of want to keep talking about Tim Tams.
Really?
We don't get those over here.
Have you tried Tim Tams before?
Yeah, Tim Tam Slam, right? That's
Yeah.
what you guys do, right?
I actually took a whole bunch of them to South by Southwest, like a big box, and gave out a whole, to different people. Chris Voss was loving them. And I left a Tim Tam and like a few bucks every day on the bed for the maid. And every day, I think the first day the Tim Tam stayed, but the money went. And I was just like, man, really? And then every day after that, it's like the Tim Tam was gone and there was a wrapper in the bin. So I was kind of chuffed with that.
Well, how many did you take in the box, Andrew?
I took I think it was like 50 in a box or something.
Damn.
So, yeah. And they were all individually wrapped. So it worked out quite well. So every time Chris or Jason sort of came over to my hotel, they're like, man, break out the Tim Tams.
Jeez, good on them.
So it was pretty funny.
All right, let's go back to Drew. Welcome, Drew.
Yes.
Hey, mate.
Hey.
So, Drew, the first question I've got is, you guys have a 3D printer, fantastic, matter of and form. Can we recreate Tim Tams on the 3D printer?
No, mostly because we actually have a 3D scanner, not a 3D printer. But
Sure.
so I can scan Tim Tams, but I can't. But we don't print them. We can scan them.
So talk to us a little bit about matter and form. You're the CEO, how that came to be, and like I've seen this and I've read a number of articles talking about the product that you have, and the price point that you have is really extraordinary when you look at other competitors. You guys cost under $1,000, but we'll talk about that a bit further into the show. But tell us a little bit about the scanner that you have and how it came to be.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a 3D scanner, so it's a product that you can use to recreate 3D files. So you put a real life object on it, and you get a 3D file back that you can use to print or use in a video game. And this came about when I was working at a small video game shop, and me and Buddy were messing around in the shop, and we decided that it would be really handy to have a 3D scanner. So we went looking online and found very expensive 3D scanners. Everything was like $10,000 Canadian and up. So I kind of looked at them. We said, we could probably make one of those. So we did. We put something together. In a couple of weeks, we had a prototype that was duct tape and 3D printed parts, and but it worked, and then people got really excited about it. So we put it on a crowdsourcing campaign, Indiegogo, which I think you guys have over there, similar to Kickstarter, and and then it just went like gangbusters, and we did really well. We were the highest funded campaign outside of any campaign in the U.S. In history at the time. Wow. So it was really good.
Raised through that.
Not a lot to today's standards, because it was on Indiegogo,
Sure.
but we raised roughly $500,000, so it was like $471,000.
That's still more than a few bits of coin, isn't it?
Yeah, it was enough to start the company, so it was good. Yeah, it was really good.
Does anyone have any questions for Drew about the scanner?
Yeah, so you had the concept and you had proof of concept, and then you put it out to Indiegogo. How did you wind up getting the manufacturing started? There must have been so many things that you had to consider, getting something like this off the ground.
Yeah, that's I haven't been interviewed very many times, but when I do, it's nice to get questions like that, because that's not something that I've thought about before we started. So good on you. It was totally a shock to us, like how we were going to do it. I mean, we worked in, a little garage, basically working out of my apartment. And, when we first built it, and had no idea how we were going to produce it. We actually thought we would hand mold and cast these parts. Cause we thought maybe we'd get like 10 or 20 people buying a scanner. Instead, we had over 1,000, so we had to find a way to manufacture these really quickly. Luckily, there was some connections we had from previous employment that had other connections. Eventually, we found a manufacturer in China, and were able to produce it there. But it was a grueling experience for sure, because it was all stuff that we've never done before.
I can imagine. How do you protect, when you go overseas like that, and you have another company now that obviously has the components and the parts? How do you protect yourself that you're not going to see somebody else knocking this off, or the same concept being offered by someone else, or maybe that doesn't bother you? I'm just curious.
Yeah, at first it was definitely a concern, because you made something that you love, and other people have fallen in love with it too. So you get worried, right? But you do what you can. You kind of you put out trademarks on your logo and that sort of thing. And we got a provisional patent on our technology, plus industrial design patent. But that was those are great for large companies, but not for really when you're starting out because they cost a lot of money. So eventually, you just kind of learn to don't worry about it. And the truth is, I came from, we came from the maker source crowd. Like I came from open source, and I'm not so concerned about it, because it's one of those things where I know that I'm creating something that not a lot of people can do, and if they can do it, then often I reach out to them and see if I can help out or they can help each other out. So I'm not so worried about it. Otherwise, you drive yourself crazy, because you just can't protect yourself everywhere.
Even with such a fantastic product, how do you keep the company in the evolution cycle, I guess, moving forward? Are you always thinking of what you can do to make the version 2 or add, to what you already have? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, software for us is big. The hardware of the device is, was set, and we always knew that we could push the quality of the scans by increasing and working on the software. So we're always thinking about like how we can improve it. It's we're never really like 100% happy with it. We always come up with new ideas as we're developing the next feature. And hardware-wise, I think I'm really happy with the device because it reaches, like you said, it reaches a really good price point, which was our main intention, was to make a scanner that wasn't $10,000, something that most people could afford. And so, that the hardware's been really good for us so far. And the only lacking part has been, our beta software was pretty rough. But since then, we've had, 3 or 4 versions of our software come out, and massive improvements in quality, massive improvements. We scan full textures now and OBJ support starting next week. So there's a lot of really amazing stuff that we've still got left to do.
Are you finding it's really just sort of consumers and, as you said, game people, or are you finding some ma and pa sort of industry and people like that are seeing the price point and taking it on board from a commercial perspective as well?
It's, I kind of thought it would just be the 3D printer enthusiasts, the guys that are just hacking around like me. But what happened was all these people came out of the woodwork when they were on the campaign, and we started talking to them, and I realized there was all sorts of like amazing stories. From everything from like the sort of heartwarming story of, a dad reached out to us and wanted to get a scanner to scan in his daughter's plasticine models so that he could just keep them, because plasticine isn't something that he could like keep for very long, sort of like just like a photo. To other people who were interested in doing archaeology with it, they wanted to take it to Kenya to scan the world's oldest hand axe, or artists that are using it for recreating some of their models because they're fed up with working on the computer and they want to get back to working in clay. There was another guy who's scanning sweet potatoes. That's a science. I don't know why, but it's a science. It's a research that he's scanning the outside of a sweet potato to find the metrics on the surface detail. Bizarre, but still really cool to hear all these stories.
Who's going to judge him? If he wants to scan sweet potatoes, you just sell a scanner, right?
Sure, yeah, and I'm kind of interested to see what happens too. Hear why he's scanning these things.
It'd make a pretty cool case study on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, I get to nerd out and geek out with people too, right? When they come and talk to me, it's usually something I'm not familiar with, so I get to kind of share.
So Drew, do you ship to Australia at all, and how much would it cost to send to Australia?
We do ship to Australia. I've got a warehouse in Australia, actually.
Wow.
Okay.
So shipping from Australia is really cheap for anyone who orders it on our site. We sell it for $5.99 US on our site, and shipping in Australia, depending on where you live, I think the warehouse is in Sydney, so the closer you are to it, the less the shipping cost.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Jacob, any questions?
Not right now, Brad.
Okay, Steve.
I have a burning question.
Go ahead,
sorry.
Jody.
So once somebody scans with your device, are there 3-dimensional printers that you recommend that someone can actually use this almost like a 3D copier?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. One of the first things that ever happened is we put up some test scans when we had our campaign, and just as examples, and not like 6 hours later, there was a guy in Germany who had printed out the object that we had just scanned, and it was this crazy moment where we realized that it was like a 3D fax machine that we just created, and we didn't really realize it until that.
So cool.
It was really cool. He sent us photos of it printed in the other side of the world, and we were like, this is really cool. But it works with any 3D printer. I have my favorites. In the North America, we have Bosch Tools, which has a Dremel brand, and Dremel has a 3D printer, which is kind of weird. It's super usable. It's a little novice, but it hasn't failed on me, which I really like. And then PrinterBot, of course, because I know Brooke really well, and not really well, but I know Brooke, and he's a good guy, and his machine's always rated very highly among the users, and it's good for hacking around and modifying, which I really like. So it does take a little more nuance and time, but it's definitely worth it.
So
that's cool.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jody.
No, I'm like blown away by the 3D facts, but go ahead, Jen. I'm just like,
right. No, it's incredible. It really is. So it's what a fun world we live in right now. So just to kind of wrap my head around it. I have multiple heads. My head around it. I'm looking at your website. I'm looking at the scanner. So the item sits on the plate, and does that spin around and the camera just captures everything in 3D detail? Is that how that works?
Yeah. So for those who aren't looking at a photo, it's a little box that folds open, and on the part that folds open, there's a little round bed with a rubber mat, and that's a turntable. You're right. It turns around, and it turns fairly slowly in little increments, a bit like a wall clock. And then on the other side of the box that's standing upright, there's a head which has a camera and 2 lasers on it. So we fire the lasers, and the camera picks up the lasers. It does some computer vision and all the math and craziness that goes behind it, and computes it to 3D. And then when the object's finished turning around, we move the head up and down. It moves automatically on a lead screw, and we're able to capture a lot. So this allows us to get really close to the object, so we can get really, really high detail, but still capture fairly large objects. So like we can get a height of 9 inches out of it, which is more than a normal 3D printer can print normal, at the time when we created it.
So, I guess it gets the top layer just as well, because it does adjust in height up and down, and well, I guess with the lasers. And I would love to see it in work. Is there a video that we can watch, or do you have something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think we have some promo videos. Plus, I think I could probably send you guys a demo unit that you can try out if you're interested.
I think the demo unit goes to my house.
Of course it does, Jody, right after it comes via my house.
No, we'll be fighting over it.
I believe there's a shipping center in Australia.
That's after I shut down the Amazon.
How many can you send, Drew? Can you send one to me and Andrew? Or?
Probably. I won't make any promises because we're running out of stock. Okay, but
enough.
So I don't know how many I have left. But so we're actually running another production run now. So. For sure, we'll get you.
It's a great problem to have that you're running out of stock. I mean, just from a touchy, I guess, topic, what are your thoughts around people who might purchase, 3D scanners or 3D printers, and I guess, create copyright or items with them? Do you see that's a problem with the industry as in with people who use those, these sorts of devices to create knockoffs of things, or?
I think it's a really interesting subject, and in fact, my COO, I actually met him on an interview at CBC, which is a Canadian broadcasting company. He was a lawyer for he's specifically around 3D printing copyright law. So we find it really interesting. I think it's really enticing. I mean, from a company's perspective, I have to say, no, don't ever copyright anything that is copywritten, because it is probably infringing. But do I think it's going to be a problem? No, because most people don't want to just, copy an object, because if they already have it, then why do they want to make a copy of it? Most people want to take something, modify it, or create something from scratch. And that's really the spirit behind 3D printing and 3D scanning. It's not about trying to rip someone off. It's about creating something new. And I think that most people have that spirit. So I don't think it's something that is going to be some sort of poison in the industry or anything like that.
Let me ask you.
Sorry, you
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry, Andrew.
I was just going to say that you said earlier, price point for these things can be $10,000-$20,000, and I've seen that many times myself. So when I looked at your website, and you guys are looking at around the sort of $650 mark, how did you guys actually get that price point so low down to there?
Yeah. So I mean, this was our challenge, was like whether we could do this. And so we looked at the existing scanners that were out there, and we kind of thought, there's probably something we could do that could make something similar. It's a laser and a camera. So these guys might be using really high-end lasers and really high-end cameras, but it's worth a shot to try it with more low-end cameras, right? Stuff that's not going to cost us thousands of dollars. And to our surprise, it worked. And what we realized was that 3D printing was, at that time, this was two years ago, I guess, 3D printing was a little farther behind too. It was pretty rough. So the quality we were getting out of it was comparable or better than what you could print with. So we just said, okay, well, if you're okay with not having, dentistry accuracy, then I think that I think that it's probably going to be a good fit, and there might be a market for it. And we didn't know at the time that there was there was so many people that just even non 3D printer people want to create 3D objects to use in various ways, right? So it was a bit of a shock to us, but by using these lower cost components, we were able to get the cost down drastically, and then we've just improved the software. And surprisingly, now, not to sound too like I'm tooting my own horn, but we're comparable to some of those machines that are $10,000 to $20,000, which I never thought we'd get there, but we did. So it's been exciting.
That's pretty impressive. It's very exciting, actually. My question. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brad.
I was just going to say, it sounds very interesting, this scanner.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. It sounds very.
So, if somebody just like me, for example, I don't have a 3D printer, but if I were to create something, some piece of art or whatever creation I make, and would want to render an image of it and scan that. If I were to want to print this later on, are there places like Kinko's that actually have 3D printers? Where would the average person print a 3D model that was rendered with a scanner? Is my question, I guess. Is there a place like Kinko's that actually does that? I don't think that. I don't know. I mean, that's a valid
there
question,
is actually.
Is there really?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah, there's a few. So I think you guys have them in Australia as well. There's a few actually. I'll name them off because I have no loyalty to any of them. But Shapeways, iMaterialize, and Sculptio. Sorry, there we go. So they're printing services that you send. So it's a website. You send up your model and file, and then they tell you how much it's going to cost. You pick your material, and then they mail you the part. And I've used it quite a few times. They're printing on multi-million-dollar machines, so or very expensive machines, anyways. And so the quality of the prints are way better than what you get at home, and it's about the same cost with just the cost of shipping, of course.
Right.
So it's really good. But we're trying to actually pair with some of these guys right now because not everyone has a 3D printer. So we started a website. It's launching in the next couple of weeks called Cashew. And your scans or any files that you have can go up to Cashew. You can share them publicly. You can view them online. And hopefully, in the near future, you'll be able to press the print button, and it'll pair with one of these services for you. And then it'll just mail you the part. So
that's exciting.
It's very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to make things for our users that work.
cashew, like the cashew spelled
Yeah,
that
like
way?
the nut.
Or?
It's,
Okay,
yeah,
great. Yeah.
cashew3d.com.
Okay, cashew3d.com. Very cool.
But it won't be up for at least another week or two, I think. We're getting
All
close.
right. Okay, Steve, any questions for Drew?
It's more statements. I think one of you guys already took my question. But anyway, I think it's great to make a lower cost scanner. Going along with a 3D printer, because before, to use a 3D printer, you need either CAD files or something like that, develop it to do it. But now you can also, it's great to be able to scan it in and then be able to send it to a 3D printer. And of course, doing graphics as well. You scan it in and then put it into as a graphic into a graphic program, and then you can manipulate or whatever. I can't even say that word. Manipulate it. There we go. Inside that program and use it for other projects. And so I think that's great. So what do you think you may? Well, I know you may not be able to say, but what do you think you may have in the future, maybe?
Yeah, well, there's right now we're focusing on the last few features for the software, of course. Then Cashew's really big on our plate because it's free service for everyone. So I'm not trying to plug it like anything, but I just think it's something that's going to be useful for the community. So we're focusing on that. But we do have maybe one hardware device coming out later this year we're planning to launch. So and that one's pretty game changing. So I can't say anything about it.
Yeah, obviously.
Other than that, it's probably in the 3D scanning world. I mean, obviously.
Okay.
So.
Good stuff, Drew. Now, where can they get hold of you if they want to ask any more questions, or they can order one?
Yeah, so you can go to matterandform.net, and we're also available on Amazon. So either one.
Okay, good stuff. Jacob, do you want one? Would you use one?
Yeah, but I wouldn't know what to use it with.
Yeah, same.
I really like. Yeah, I love it. I really like the idea of buying such an item, which is very cost effective. I mean, a lot of the other things in the field are prohibitive, and then you've got the ability to tailor it to get the right product that you want from a 3D perspective. And then, as Drew said, you send it off to a company that prints it and it's in the mail for you. I think it's fantastic, and it's definitely the direction that we're going in. And as you said, Drew, about that customer of yours who wants to keep his daughter's sculptures, it's amazing some of the things that people will do that you wouldn't even consider, and obviously this is where we're going in the next 5-10 years. It's exciting to be a part of it, I'm sure.
Definitely. All right, Drew, thanks for being on, mate. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. It was a real pleasure.
Yep, thanks, mate. You want to hang around for a while, or do you need to go?
It's Friday night here in Toronto, and it's 30 below, so I think I'm
gonna
go home and have a scotch or something like that.
Go ahead,
absolutely. And if anyone really does want to get their hands on one of these, it's matterandform.net. So matterandform.net, and Drew will look after you from there. Really fantastic device. Thanks again, Drew.
Thanks so much, guys. Keep in touch, please.
Excellent.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Drew.
much.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Okay, here's
Bye-bye.
is.
And here we are with the Tech Webcast News. Apple is working on a new version of its Apple TV streaming set-top box, according to a new report. The new Apple TV will reportedly be slimmer and feature a redesigned tactile remote with increased capabilities when compared with the previous generation's remote. Apple's also making changes to the software inside this streaming box, and it will include a redesigned operating system that will include an app store for the first time. There's no app store on the existing Apple TV. I'm sorry, there's no app store on the existing Apple TV. Users are instead... Okay, guys, stop that, please.
Yeah, we're hearing the bloop, bloop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have been warned.
Disconcerting, so please. Yeah. So, but anyway, there's no app store right now on Apple TV. So, again, they're looking at a new Apple TV, which should be coming out soon. Jen, what else do you have?
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to a new Apple TV. Well, speaking about Apple TV, something that you want to watch Apple TV on is not watch on, but watch Netflix on rather is your Apple TV, right? So great news for the Australians. Netflix is coming to Australia. So the wait for legally to Australia and New Zealand. The wait is nearly over. And on March 24th, Netflix will begin streaming in both countries. So I'm sure Brad and Andrew and everyone is pretty happy. Everyone out there, Belinda, everyone we know is happy that finally they'll be able to get it legally in Australia. Yes.
Well, you know,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen.
No, that's it. That's the story.
That's the story. Okay, I thought you were. Yep. Yeah. So in other streaming TV news, Telstra agrees to reseller agreement with Presto. Telstra has signed an agreement to resell Presto subscription video on-demand service to its customers. The agreement means that Telstra can market the Presto TV, Presto Movies, and Presto Entertainment Bundle subscription across a range of their product offerings, giving Telstra customers access to stream an unbelievable selection of thousands of hours of ad-free movies and TV shows on demand. Isn't that more TV than anybody could ever want?
Gosh, Presto, Netflix, they
I'll take that challenge.
Going on out there. Yep.
Go ahead, Jen.
So also in news, this is coming from macrumors.com. The rumor is that iOS 8.2 is going to be launching next week. They actually released iOS 8.2 to its employees. The beta was seeded out to the employees and carrier partners, and now they're claiming that the update will arrive next week as well. So the initial I'm sorry, I lost my place here in my story. The release notes, rather, for iOS 8.2 outlines several improvements to Apple's stock health app, and it includes the ability to select units of measurements for body temperature, weight, height, distance, and blood glucose, and it also delivers stability enhancements for mail, flyover, and maps, music, voiceover, and made for iPhone hearing aids. There's also a number of bug fixes as well, and a long-awaited fix for the so-called GMT which caused calendar syncing issues for several iPhone and iPad users. And there's an Exchange calendar issue as well, and it looks like that has been fixed also. So that is what we have to expect coming next week for iPhone users.
And in other news, it's about time. Microsoft Office for Mac is getting its first major update in years. The company rolled out on Thursday preview versions of the new Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Outlook for Mac. The first time the Office suite for Mac has had a new release since 2011. Better yet, Microsoft said that from now on, Office for Mac will be updated as regularly as Windows. This is the first time Office for Mac is updated on a regular basis like Office 365 is today. So those who aren't subscribers will still be able to use the Office apps for free during the preview period, but will need an Office 365 subscription or perpetual license once they become generally available later this year. Back to you, Jen.
All right. And sticking with Apple news, Apple is actually working on, rumor has it, a new larger iPad, according to the Wall Street Journal, with suppliers that have been told to gear up for production in the second half of this year. That's a revised timeline from the earlier plan that targeted the first half of this year. But since the product's existence hasn't yet been acknowledged by Apple, that kind of timeline change is not surprising. What is surprising, however, are the potential hardware features that the Wall Street Journal is reporting and that Apple has worked on for this upcoming device, which may or may not take their way to the final design. According to the rumors, Apple's thinking about adopting a USB 3.0 for faster transfer speeds between the large iPad and computers, as well as external drives and other accessories, the report is claiming, and has even mulled that over adding additional USB I/O ports beyond the single Lightning port found on the current model for iPhone and iPad devices. It's also looking at tech that might enable much faster charging time. But all of those potential features are still only being considered for inclusion and could easily be left out of the eventually shipping product per the report. And that's all I have.
Okay, well, one more major story.
Uh-huh.
Microsoft has issued a security warning about a bug that could let attackers spy on supposedly secure communications. Okay, this is a patch for a 19-year-old bug. Called Freak, the bug was found in software used to encrypt data passing between web servers and web users. Initially, the flaw was thought only to affect some users of Android and BlackBerry phones and Apple Safari web browser, but Microsoft's warning suggests that millions more may be at risk of losing data. The Freak flaw was discovered by encryption and security expert, and I'm not going to even say his name. But anyway, what it does is it lets attackers force data traveling between a vulnerable site and a visitor to use weak encryption. And this makes it easier to crack open the data and steal sensitive information. So the way I understand it is it had something to do with NASA, with the White House, something to do with like federal security systems where they requested or required a backdoor be added to the software. And that's what's causing this vulnerability. So anyway, Apple's expected to produce a patch for the flaw next week. Google has updated its version of Chrome for Mac to remove the susceptibility to Freak. It is yet to say what action it's taking with Android. So be aware, update, and be safe. And that's the news, guys.
Great reading from Jody and Jennifer, as always. Do you agree, Jacob?
Yes, I do. I was reading the show notes.
You need to be more faster on your response, mate.
I was reading the show notes, so my mouse is all the way on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, just delete. Ask, okay? Stop. Let's go to Andrew first. What's your view on the stories, mate? And I know you're going to talk about Netflix for a minute.
Yeah, I am. Look, I mean, it's great that Apple, first up, are working on a new Apple TV. I think the Apple TV is such a fantastic device. It simplifies, content transmission. I use mine religiously. We went away for a week to Adelaide and we didn't take it with us. And we were, both Christy and I were just like, wow, when we get home, we're going to Apple TV. It's easy. Fantastic device. And Netflix in Australia, really excited. 24th of March. I'm really keen to see just what content they will have access to. Hoping that Telstra and Foxtel don't own all of the good stuff. Hopefully, there's some stuff left over for Netflix to have. You're
gonna be very disappointed, mate. I'm very sorry to say.
Look, I'm sort of waiting until launch, and I know, Brad, that we've had a few conversations with people.
We have,
down that way. So we are looking to receive accounts so that we can actually have a really good look at the product offering and make an informed decision on whether or not it's a value prospect based on the content that they're going to be offering. But it's a real challenging one. If there's 200,000 Netflix subscribers in Australia already who are using the US version through proxy servers, the challenge here is unless they can provide an offering that's as good as what they already have, how do they then convert 200,000 people to a lesser product without a shitstorm being kicked up, basically? That's going to be the challenge for Netflix in Australia. Or they just leave the 200,000 people who are already using the US version alone and go after new market. But it's going to be really interesting to see how Netflix go. I think it's good, it's welcome. The question too, though, is hopefully Netflix won't come in and throw weight around. With 300 million people in the USA, they've got the ability to throw some real weight and some real money around. Where Telstra just don't have that sort of ability with a 20 million population in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Netflix is a big company, isn't it?
It's a huge company, and they have a great product. It's going to be difficult for local Telstra to compete if Netflix do decide to actually go all out assault. Sorry, Brad.
So what are some of the shows that you watch on Netflix? And just name a couple that you watch.
Well, of course, if I borrow someone in America's account, which I've been known to do, you can't say that House of Cards isn't a great show. It's a fantastic show, and then also obviously Breaking Bad. But then it's not just those. It's the ability to watch all of the old classic My wife Christy and I, we've been watching The Wonder Years. You know how yeah, they've got every episode of that. So we've been sort of working our way through and having a look at that one. And there's a few old TV shows that she watches. She watches Girls every week. So, and there's movies come out. There's just so much content on there that you literally can't work your way through. And with today's busy lifestyle of people, we don't know what time we're going to be sitting down to watch TV. I can't guarantee that at 7:30 or 8:30 at night we're going to be watching whatever local television has for us. So having a baby and both working hard, it means that we can click play whenever we choose. And we can do that on the Apple TV in the lounge, or if we really want, we can watch that in bed on the laptop if it's getting late. So that sort of flexibility is really welcome. And Telstra are going to get Presto out, as the other news article suggested, and I hope they do really well with that, because Presto also is a fantastic offering, and it's going to be competing with Netflix. So it's a really vibrant, and it's going to be a very active space, probably until the end of the year. And as I think Jennifer, you said earlier, there really is a lot happening in Australia, in the streaming space, and America may have already gone here and done all of this, but it's probably going to be exciting from a global perspective to see just what Australia does.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also in the news, there's also HBO streaming is coming to the Apple TV too, as well. Did you hear about that at all, Andrew?
No, I know HBO Go is already on the Apple TV.
I think there's some sort of channel. I'm not sure what it's called. HBO something, and they'll have like Game of Thrones and them sort of things. And
okay, well, yeah, HBO Go is already on the Apple TV, so I've heard. So that's a fantastic setup as well. So if you've got HBO Go and you've got Netflix through your Apple TV, and you've got Showtime, perhaps, you've pretty much got access to any content that you want, and it's all at a real low cost, entry amount of money. But then obviously come potential challenges as well around that. Are we then moving into a space like we are, with other products like Spotify, where the artists and people like that aren't going to get as much money if we're only paying $10 a month for this content? So I guess that raises another question for another time.
Yep. Good question as always. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Netflix to see what they have on offer and that sort of thing. And sounds interesting. Now,
can I just say too, while we're just to finish up, that I'm really excited with Microsoft Office for Mac 2016. I've got 2011 on my computer, and it just kind of it's a great product, but it's just sort of, we're in 2015. That's 2011. It's now getting on a little bit, and I'm really hoping that it's a great product. Office 2016, and I'm hoping that it's a full install product. I really dislike this, 365, where you pay and it's kind of in the cloud and it's a 12-month subscription. With Office, I want to buy it and I want to install it and I want to leave it there. That's one of the few products that I'm really happy to use as an install base.
I agree with you.
Yep.
I do not enjoy the whole subscription-based thing. I want to own my software one time, and that's it. I don't want to deal with
But don't you think more and more companies are moving towards a subscription-based model?
Yes, Adobe.
And particularly because with the updates and upgrades, if you have a subscription-based software, then they're continually updating it.
I think so, but it depends what products as well. I mean, Office to me, from a business perspective, is kind of foundational. So it's something that I will pay the extra for. And I know that Adobe, they charge a couple $1,000s for, Photoshop and Illustrator and some of these products. So I'm sort of happy to use them on a subscription. But I like the idea of having the choice, whether I want to pay, $400 or $500 once off, or whether I want to pay $50 a month as a subscription. With the Office 365 offering, it kind of felt like it was, you can either use the subscription or you can use a different product. That's kind of the direction that was going, and I like the idea of just paying once and being done, because for Office I might use it for 3 years or 4 years like I am with 2011 now, and paying $50 a month for that time, it's just another thing that's hitting your credit card every month.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Andrew, are you looking forward to the keynote on Tuesday, mate?
I am, but I usually don't get up to watch them, to be honest.
Really?
No, I don't. There's a million and one things happening. I'll wake up the following morning, grab a coffee, and have a look at it there. But I'm looking forward to it. The new iPad, the larger
new
iPad. I think it's going to be great from a commercial perspective, in factories and industrial environments. I think that'll be really great. It's bigger for, tradies and workers with big thumbs. But from a consumer perspective, I don't think it's needed. I've got a 13-inch MacBook, and it's almost as big as my MacBook. I don't see that an iPad needs to be that big. And you've also got, if it's that big, iPads kind of get moved around and crunched around a lot. I wonder if it's going to be easy to break.
Don't know, mate. Don't know. What about the new Apple TV, mate? You looking forward to that? I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Absolutely. I will literally buy that the day it comes out.
Oh, same.
Yeah, we've been waiting for an Apple TV for a long time. So that's really great. But I'll let you move on and get some other people's perspective.
Let's go to Jacob. What's your view on the stories, mate?
Well, it's pretty good. I like to see what's in the iOS 8 updates.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, fix the Wi-Fi and iMessage bugs.
And also, there's going to be new icons, right? New emoji icons. What do they call them?
Emoji.
Emoji. That's it. Emoji. They'll be in there as well. Won't they?
Yeah, but everybody's waiting for one to show. The one and only, the middle finger.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's waiting for that one.
I'm not waiting for that one.
Me either, really.
Who's waiting for that?
Jacob is.
No, but there's a lot of people other than me that are waiting for it.
I have not heard one person except for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been seeing a lot of posts on my Facebook feed for
Yeah, I wonder why. People
My entire feed. Yeah. I wish that Apple would have a middle finger emoji.
Yeah, the top requested feature.
Who would use it?
Okay, I think she's kind of lost it now.
Yeah,
who would use that?
Okay.
I gotta go on mute. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'm mute. Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, your thoughts, Steve, on some of those, or Jacob? Are you still
go ahead, Jacob. What do you want to say? Go ahead, Jacob.
Along the sides of the emojis, excuse me. Basically, I want to see them fixing the Wi-Fi, iMessage, and the Wi-Fi dropouts on the Apple TV and the iPad. Yeah, the Wi-Fi dropouts, basically.
Well, do you get Wi-Fi dropout problems?
Yes, what I have to do is I have to shut the Wi-Fi off and return it back on.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So I don't think I have done that on my iPod once, but my iPad, yes.
All right. Okay, let's go to Steve. What about you, mate? Are you looking forward to the to emojis, that icon, mate, at all?
Not really. I don't really use emojis at all. I guess some people love that stuff.
Besides Jacob.
Yeah, just Jacob. As far as the Netflix coming to Australia, I think it's great. It almost makes me want to go to Australia just to watch Netflix. But
well, as I said to you, I'm gonna make this clear now. Not every show that's in the US now won't be on Australian version.
Well, yeah, obviously, due to contract requirements and things like that. Yeah, but
people thinking all this, once you're on, you have all the same stuff in the US. No, you won't have it.
Well, and that goes back to what Andrew said. I mean, how will it compete? But additionally, do you think that there might be shows that are for Australia that we don't have in the US?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's correct. Yes. They've actually talked about that they have content agreements with a lot of Australian companies, such as the ABC in Australia, Fremantle Media, and that there'll be a lot of Australian content as well, which might be really fantastic. It might unearth some of the Aussie classics. A Country Practice, as an example, was a classic in Australia in the 80s, late 80s, I think. If someone wants to sit down and watch all 8 seasons of that, there's nowhere to do that sort of thing at the moment. So if they unearth some of that product, it could be massively beneficial for the Australian market.
Yeah, definitely. What about Stan? Stan has a good offering for Australian content on Stan. Andrew, have you seen Stan?
Yeah, I have. And look, they're just another player in what is becoming quite an aggressive market. And good luck to them. If you've got Stan, you've got Presto, you've got Netflix.
Yep.
There's some real offerings in there.
What do you reckon? What do you think will happen with QuickFlix? What do you reckon what happen with them?
In what way? Sorry, Brad?
We reckon they'll lose customers over it, or?
Oh, QuickFlix.
Yeah, QuickFlix.
Gee. Look, QuickFlix is great, and we've had the CEO on the show before. they're doing some real aggressive marketing at the moment where if you go to register, for example, in Australia, you can pick up 2 or 3 months worth of free quick flicks. So they're trying to get people on as quickly as possible. It's a land grab. It really is at the moment. It's a land grab to get users in. And I think they're being very clever in that they're trying to get people online for free. Start using our service.
Well, the main reason I've left QuickFlix, the main reason I left, because they don't do AirPlay, there's no Apple TV support and, that sort of thing, and there's no app.
Look, there's no doubt they've got content problems. They're 1% the size of Netflix, not even. So they're really, a David versus Goliath, and unfortunately they're on the wrong side of that battle. So to be, entirely frank with you, it's going to be really difficult to imagine QuickFlix going, much further than the year 2016.
Yeah.
But they are, an Aussie company. They're an Aussie product. And hopefully they can get in there and be a player with these other companies, who are quite busy in the market space. And, with Foxtel bringing their pricing, cutting their pricing in half, I think that's really clever. And it's something that, they've probably done at the exact right time. I think if Foxtel was still running around charging people $120, $150 a month, they'd have no chance in the market that's about to emerge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. Jennifer, have you heard about the new HBO app coming to the Apple TV or some new streaming thing?
Yeah, I did. I read about that. It looks like they'll be doing a subscription service to HBO, so you do not have to be an existing cable or satellite subscriber, and you can just go ahead and create a membership to HBO and watch their content. So I think that's fantastic because I, for one, am not a cable or satellite subscriber for TV. So this would be something that I might be interested in. So I'm excited. I think it's a score for cable cutters or cord cutters, and I would like to see more services like this roll out.
Definitely. Sounds good. Is that it? Is that it, Andrew? Anyone else? Jody, what about you? What's your view on the stories? I don't think I asked you yet.
Well, what's interesting, a couple of things. It's almost like the stories are all related and yet unrelated. But here's my take on it. With regard to like Netflix and all of the streaming videos, the fact that more and more of us are taking our iPads and portable devices and we're binge watching all of the shows that perhaps we didn't see or we want to see again from the first one all the way through. Now Apple's coming out with a larger screen. I guess, I don't know if you guys do this, but I when I go up to bed, one of my guilty pleasures is having my iPad and watching all of those shows that I didn't get a chance to see. And I think, Andrew, you mentioned that you do something similar with, you might take your laptop up and you guys watch the laptop in bed. But I'm wondering how our viewing habits are changing. And with the larger screen, maybe what it's going to wind up happening is replacing at some point the TV, because I know I'll watch it on my iPad. It's just different than the TV. It just seems more intimate. Getting away from the TV on the wall and instead having something portable that you can take with you and bigger screen, and now you're watching it. It all seems to be interrelated.
Well, my designer, he's in his early 20s and he doesn't have a TV. He and his wife watch Netflix through his 15-inch laptop. They just put it on the kitchen table at night. They go about their night and they put some shows on. And he said half of his friends, and they're in their sort of 22, 23 years old, half of his friends don't have TVs and the other half have them but don't watch them.
Jeez.
So that's spot on, Jody.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, for example, Jackie's home right now. She lives in a house with a bunch of other kids who are all going to college together, and they don't have a TV. They do the same thing. So the idea of cutting the cord or getting away from broadcast television just seems to be more and more prevalent among younger people.
It's kind of like our telephones, or internet as a whole. We're using internet on a desktop computer, on a laptop, but everything's sort of moving mobile. It's a similar sort of thing with your TV. The content is moving mobile, as you said. You're watching it on your iPad. I watch it on the laptop in bed sometimes. So it's kind of this ability to be anywhere and watch this content. And with HBO, the HBO Go product, as you said before, Jen, it's only for people who have a subscription to the cable version. But they're obviously seeing that if they don't offer something soon, they're going to lose massive market to Netflix because there are so many cord cutters out there. So they have to come up with a product where you can also pay the $10 or $20 a month or whatever it is to view their content instead of having to be a part of a cable network.
That's true.
That is true, yeah. Interesting point. Steve, what's your view on that, what Andrew said?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, everything's going mobile as far, of course, what Jody said as well. It could be tablets, could be phones, laptops, whatever.
I watch stuff on my iPad and stuff in bed and at night, and that, I still use it. I use my iPad every night and stuff, and comes in handy. But I still use it, Foxtel and Lounge and stuff, which comes in handy and that sort of thing. What about you, Steve? Do you use the iPad or whatever?
Well, I mean, usually if I watch something, it'll be. I still use cable and television. I mean, I still watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. Occasionally, I'll try to catch some shows on the internet if I can't catch them on television or something like that.
So you watch it on your iPad or you use a computer or?
I use it actually right here in my office right here.
On your laptop, eh?
Well, no, actually, I've got my. Let me see if I can. Yeah, you can't really see it in this picture, but yeah, I've got like my desktop over here. Watch it.
Oh, nice. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. What about you, Jacob? Before we wrap up, mate.
Netflix. I watch it on my computer sometimes, on mostly my Apple TV.
But I have to say, I am not a fan of Netflix on the Xbox One. It looks terrible. I checked out the other day. It looks just...
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm sticking with the Apple TV.
Yeah, same. I think I might do try. When it does come out, I'll use the Apple TV.
Yeah, I don't think Xbox One is a great delivery mechanism. I tried, as you did, Brad, with the Xbox 360, watching Foxtel through it. It's just not a natural delivery mechanism. I mean, if you think for someone like me, my wife, you have to switch on the Xbox, then you have to go through here, go through the menu, click on it, do this, do that. It's too hard.
Yeah, it is hard for some people. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Netflix coming to Australia in a couple of weeks, so that should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, we will be getting a couple of accounts that we can test and demo, and we will be letting listeners know all we can about it and whether or not it's an offering worthwhile. And we will also try and get you guys a good deal, see if we can do something there as well. But we'll be letting you know as soon as we know, probably in the next show, because I don't think we have a show next week, Brad.
That's correct. No show next week. I'll be getting my Mac fixed or whatever it's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. So there will be a week off, but the following week, we plan to tell you as much about Netflix as we possibly can.
Good stuff, and we may even have someone on from next week on the show, maybe.
Absolutely.
Soon, working on that at the moment as we speak. What's your final view of the show, Jennifer?
I thought it was a fantastic show. I love speaking with Drew Cox from, Matt. Now I can't remember the name.
I think he's...
Help me here.
From matterinform.net.
Matter Inform. I was going to say Matter, and then I couldn't remember the rest of it. My apologies. But that was fascinating. So I'm really excited about the 3D scanner, and I thought the news items were great tonight, and it's always great speaking with my fellow nerds. So
what about the emoji comment from Jacob?
That was very funny. I will be surprised if Apple were to release that, and I know Jacob will be very happy.
And I'm sure he'll be sending you 100 of iMessages with that icon.
I know. I'm sure we'll have that to look forward to.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'll hope not. Let's go to Jody. What about you? What's your final view on the show?
Sorry. I think as always, Brad, it's great to talk with everybody. I agree with Jen, everything you said about the scanner, the 3D scanner. Really, when you think about it, amazing concept and 3D facts. That just blows my mind. I will not be using the emoji, and you will. And that was kind of interesting. But again, great to connect with you guys. If anybody's looking to find me, you can find me on Twitter as Sunswept, or find me at here, except next Friday, and my website, webmarcom.net, and we're also doing Social Media Addicts with Seth Goldstein. That's out of the Philly Tech Org network.
Cool.
Yeah.
We need to get him on the show one day.
Oh, I'm sure he'd be happy to come on the show. Just let me know when. I'll make him come on.
Oh, sounds good. Steve, what about you, mate?
That was a great show. I enjoyed the three about the guest and his 3D scanner, and some of the tech news of the week, and the emoji comment as well is pretty funny.
Your Apple TV maybe next week, Steve. You're gonna get one if they announce one.
I'd have to see. I don't know. I mean, my media watching is kind of good enough for right now. Perhaps if it's really comprehensive, maybe.
I love the Apple TV. I use mine every day. I love it. I love it. I love it. Get one. Jacob, what about you, mate?
Hey, that was a real good show for me today.
Okay.
And you can follow me at JazzBot326691Z.
And you can get me on Twitter at Brad Oz on a Tech Webcast. Is that it, Andrew?
No, just a fantastic show. Really enjoyed being a part of it as always. And thank you again to Drew Cox from matterandform.net. And if you want to get your hands on one of those 3D scanners, jump across. And they're also available through Amazon. And see what you think. So it's been a fantastic show. Thank you again, as always. And we will see you again in 2 weeks. You can get a hold of me on Twitter or Facebook as Cunning Drew. And you can get me on the Zafo app at Andrew or on the Rewind app.
I want to say Andrew on Twitter every day.
Maybe.
That's all I want to say.
Twitter is it's another topic of discussion, but Twitter is becoming for me less and less relevant.
Really? Mm-hmm. I love Twitter.
It's good, but it doesn't. It's conversation, but it's not substantial.
I chat with a lot of famous people on there.
Yeah, true.
TV stuff and that. It's really fun. For me anyway, but anyway. Jacob, guess what? You lost the game.
Tech Webcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Tech Webcast. Cause technology, it moves so fast. Tech Webcast. Ha, stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Tech Webcast. Ha, ha. Tech Webcast. Big ups to Andrew, to Brad, Jody, Steve, and Jennifer. Boom!